This video will help you take actionable steps to assist students with improving their grades. In this video, I'm going to show you how to help students who have failing grades improve quickly, step by step. Hi, I'm Kimberly Deneen with Education Noir. At Education Noir, we help Black teachers and parents level up their practice for student growth and achievement. If you're struggling with how to help students who have failing grades in your class, this video walks you through exactly what you need to do so that you can assist students with improving their grades quickly. Let's get started. The first thing you need to do when helping students who have failing grades improve and achieve is to assess what is really causing the low performance. So what this looks like is viewing the student profile data. In the profile data, you will see grades for that student in all of their classes. You will also see attendance and tardiness. Also, you will see behavior referrals in addition to state and standardized testing results. You also may see observations from other professionals who are working with that student, as well as checklists, behavioral checklists that may have been prior interventions used with the student. Once you have all of this information, you'll be able to get a more holistic view of your student. Number 2, identifying the learning challenges and the specifics. So what that means simply is when is this low performance happening? Where is the low performance happening? And what exactly is the low performance? How is the student responding to feedback? All of these things will help you have a clearer picture of how to help your student. Number 3, examining the student's schedule to see if the learning challenges are occurring or not occurring in other classes. That may be something that you can do to talk about with the other teachers in your team meetings, your professional learning communities, whatever you call your meeting when all of you who teach the students convene. You may want to ask to add kid talk on the agenda for that meeting so that way you can see if other teachers are having the same challenges with that particular student. Number 4 is identifying contributing factors. Contributing factors could simply be strategies that are used with the student or the lack of the strategy. It could be the relationship between the teacher and the student. There are studies that show that if students feel like the teacher does not like them, their performance is affected, and vice versa. So that's something that can be addressed and repaired. However, you can't do it if you don't know that there's an issue there. There also may be a lack of classroom resources. All of these could be contributing factors. The curriculum could be too challenging. It could be too easy. If a curriculum is too easy for a student, then they may tune out, or there may be behavioral issues. The student, you may need to simply talk to the student. The student may have a lack of motivation. There may be a low self-confidence there. There may be a lack of prerequisites. There also could be social emotional issues there. And that's where restorative practices may come in, social emotional learning practices may come in. However, you need to talk to that student. So having a one-on-one conversation with that student will give you some information and more insight. Another contributing factor could simply be with the parent's lack of skills at home. The parent may not be able to provide support. There may be a lack of home structure. There could be a lot of things happening at home that you may not be aware of. Here I make it my own personal strategy or philosophy, that I don't judge the parent as to why, because that parent could be working two jobs, that maybe a single parent home. There could be a multitude of reasons as to why the support is not being provided, right? So it's our job just to step in, because our job is to make sure that the students achieve. There also could simply be organizational issues. Too many students in the class. Again, lack of resources and support within the class. So finding out what the contributing factors are will help you with improving and making adjustments to help that student who has a failing grade. And you'll continually hear me say the student who has a failing grade versus the student failing. I believe that there's a lot of power in our language and the words that we use with and about our students. So I never say that my student is failing. No, my student is not failing. My student is not a failure. My student currently may have failing grades in my class, and I believe that these are two distinct differences in how we use that language. So let's continue. So now that you have made your assessment of possible causes for students failing grades, it's time for step 2. Before we get into step 2, take a minute to tap that like button, and please stay to the end because I have free resources for you. In step 2, you need to see which interventions have already been used, if any, and create a failure reduction plan. Some places may call this a student support plan. Some places may call this multi-tiered support systems. There are many names for this. However, for the sake of this video, we're just going to call it a failure reduction plan. If you stay to the end, you will get I call it a student support system. That's what we call it at our school. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to say failure reduction plan. All right, so you want to select or create techniques, methods, or strategies to address the learning challenges and contributing factors. All right, so some of the learning challenges could simply be that the student needs to be taught the information in a different way. The student may need more scaffolding supports. So once you have done your assessment and you've looked at the contributing factors, that will give you an indication of what exactly you need to do as far as your methods, your strategies to help that student. Number 2, you want to create a failure reduction plan that includes long and short-term goals. Your short-term goals should be no more than 5 to 10 days. You also want to include indicators of success, strategies and methods, measures, and for sure you need to have a timeline. All right, so all of these things will assist with helping that student improve quickly, and also what it will do for you is it will give you specifics to look for in regards to successes. All right, number 3, you want to share the plan with the student using a one-to-one conference format. And again, if you stay to the end, I will make sure that you get also find out how you can get your one-to-one conference format form and your student support system, your student support form as well. All right, and then you want to be optimistic. And for sure, you need to have that student's buy-in to the plan. If you don't have your students buy-in, the plan will fail, right? So that's the first thing. You have to get the students' commitment to the goals and the plan. And then you also want to share this plan with the parent. And even though your parent may lack the skills to assist your student, or maybe they are just not able to really provide that hands-on support, if they have that plan, they can at least say, did you do this? Did you do that? They can text them, they can call them, they can reach out, or they can remind them. So you want to make sure that the parent is involved as well. Number 4, you want to teach learning to learn content specific prerequisite skills. All right, so some of those learning to learn skills are simply teaching students how to memorize and store information, right? You also may need to, depends on your subject, but you may need to teach them specific note-taking skills like Cornell notes and other specific note-taking skills. I like to use interactive notebooks with my students. Yes, we are more virtual, and we still are using more virtual platforms in my class, but I still have folders and I still use an interactive notebook. And this sets up a system for my students. When they come in, they know they have to get their folders, they know they have to get their notebooks. And even if we don't do anything with the notebooks, they are already in the practice of doing this. It's systemic, right? It's a systematic process for them. Some other teaching learning to learn skills are vocabulary attainment and development, teaching them how to write summaries, reading for information, teaching them text features, reminding them about text features, teaching them self-assessment and adjustment, helping them, teaching them learn how to monitor your own comprehension when you're reading. That is teaching self-assessment and adjustments. Showing them self-advocacy, problem solving, interacting, teaching them listening skills, teaching them how to collaborate with other students. These are skills. Goal setting and planning and decision making. So these are all things that we need to teach students so that they will learn these skills so that they can learn. Okay. All right. So that was number 4. Number 5 is create or select correctives and differentiation activities, as well as techniques, and provide opportunities for retaking and redoing assignments. So some of the things that you want to do when it comes to differentiation or scaffolding, you definitely want to vary how the students learn the material, right? You're giving them the same information, but you may be doing it in a different way, right? For instance, my students may put the vocabulary in their interactive notebooks, simply cutting out something and putting it in their notebook, and we'll go over it. However, they may do a boom card on those vocabularies. They may do a Quizlet, a Quizlet learning, or a Quizlet game, a Quizlet test with the same information. So you're giving it to them in a different way. Even with vocabulary, they can collaborate. Do give 5, take 5. So they go around to 5 different students, and they're getting vocabulary that they didn't remember, right? Or they didn't write down. And then they're giving vocabulary to the student maybe that student didn't get or write down. Very simple techniques, but you're doing the same thing, but just in a different way, right? Okay, so let's go ahead to number. Let me just say that there's power in students retaking tests and redoing assignments, right? Some people look at that as, you're babying them. They should have done it right the first time. There are different ways to look at this, right? However, a lot of times students see, I made this mistake. I know now I know I should have done this. So allowing them that opportunity to redo tests and assignments, there's power in that. And they learn from their mistakes, right? If you want to even take it a step further, you can actually have them write, a couple of sentences on what they now know because they were able to redo that assignment. Let them reflect, right? There's power in reflection. And I believe that redoing tests and redoing assignments allows them that the chance to reflect and call up what they now know, right? The first time, maybe they just didn't get it, but they've had some instruction and they've had time to grapple with the content. And now, oh, I got it now, right? All right, and then number 6 is really simple. Host office hours. We tend to think of this as more of a university or college thing, but we host office hours at my high school, and we call it office hours. Make sure that your office hours are clearly posted and communicated with both the student and the parent. Okay. And once you've put interventions and a failure reduction plan in place, it's time for step 3. That's where we monitor the plan, adjust, and celebrate. Here, we review the look fors, right, such as your success indicators with that student. We recognize incremental progress and determine what created those positive results, right? And recognize it in a big way, right? I mean, it could be as simple as them coming to class on time. Hey, that's a win. So if it's something like that, it's you celebrate it. And at my school, we practice restorative practices and social emotional learning. So we do something called Family Circle every day, and we did it prior to the pandemic because it's the foundation of our school, and we continue to do it. We did it through the pandemic, and we continue to do it now. So it could be as simple as something that we call a shout out, right, during circle. And a shout out is just, I want to shout out Jeremy. I'm going to pull a name. I don't have any students named Jeremy, but Jeremy. We want to shout out Jeremy for being here on time. And, the shout outs, so we do it in our staff meetings. It makes me feel good, right? And I'm an adult. I'm 50 years old, and it makes me feel good. So I know that the shout out, even, that would make the student feel good to be recognized for something, right? Okay, so number 3, you also want to, I'm not sure I did number 2, so let me do number 2 again. Recognize incremental progress and determine what created the positive results. So yes, we did that. You may also, if it's something instructional, you want to look at what created that positive result. Was it tutoring? Was it the way that they took notes? Was it providing a PowerPoint presentation of the lesson on Teams or on your Google Classroom platform, so that they could review it later? Like, look at what caused that success. All right, so let's go on to number 3. Number 3, adjust the plan and strategies, or you may have to establish a new goal. So you want to keep up with your plan. If your plan is working, fine. If your plan, let's say they reach that first goal quickly within the next 2-3 days, then you want to adjust the plan. And you want to look at, okay, well, let's go ahead and add this new goal, and you set your timeline for that goal. Okay, so, and you may actually have to do new goals, right, because they may have achieved the goals quickly. All right, so let's look at number 4. Number 4, you want to share the feedback with your stakeholders, right? Your stakeholders are definitely the student. You want to share it with the parent. You may also want to share it with if they have a case manager or a counselor that's been working closely with them. You want to share it with them, and you may even want to share it in your PLC meeting as well. But you want to share that feedback. And then 5, radically celebrate progress and provide encouragement and optimism, right? So that is extremely important, because the student may need that to keep going, right? They may need that. All right, so there you have it. In just a few steps, you can help your students who have failing grades improve and achieve. Also, share in the comments what works for you when working with students who have failing grades. We are all a community here, and guess what? I may not have said something that has worked really, really well for you. So please share that in the comments. And if you don't already have an assisted student support plan or a one-to-one conference form, there's a link in the description to get you to a free copy of the assisted student support plan or a failure reduction plan that I use with my students and teachers. So please take advantage of that. It is free. All you have to do is a short little when you get to the link, you'll see is simply your name, your email. I will not spam you. Just want to keep in touch with you from time to time and let you know what's going on and what's available. But you will get the materials emailed to you. Thanks for watching, and share this video especially with a first-year teacher. If you have a first-year teacher that's in your building, and share with anyone that you think may benefit from this content. Thank you.